So Billy Graham, in the very first season that he was a preacher, went to a logging camp, and nobody ever showed up the whole season. But the very first Sunday, he started preaching, and nobody was in there. But he figured, I came here. So he started preaching it. He finished his sermon and walked out, kind of sad. Came back next Sunday, nobody was there. And he sat there for about 30 minutes or so, half an hour, and he closed his Bible and went to walk out the door. And the Holy Spirit stopped him and was like, now I sent you here to preach, so preach. So that whole season he preached, and nobody showed up, not one soul, whole season. And he preached his butt off. He said it was some of the best sermons he ever gave. Well, some years later, when he was famous and everybody knew him and everything, there was a Latino man that came to him, and he started speaking Spanish and English at the same time. And Billy, I love you, thank you, muchas gracias, paz con Dios. And he's like, I want to thank you so much, you saved my life. And he's like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember you, I don't know you, I don't think. And he goes, oh yeah, you know me. And he's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't. If you'll refresh my memory. And the guy told him, he said, well, there was this logging camp in this year. And he's like, yeah, I remember that, I do. It was my first season of preaching. And he said, nobody showed up. And the Latino man says to him, he goes, well, I was in the back doing dishes. And it was connected to the church part. And there was a vent through there. And he said, I heard your sermon every Sunday. I listened to your sermon. And I literally listened. And I didn't have a choice but to listen. It came through the vent and I didn't have nothing. He goes, but you got me reading my Bible. You got me asking God questions. And you saved my soul. You saved my life, Mr. Graham. And so Billy wrote in his book, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it's one of his books, and he talks about how if God gives you the word, you're to preach it. You're to preach it, because you don't ever know who's listening or what they're listening for. And God works many things in many different ways. So rely not on your own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all your heart. Today they do a lot of numbers, but that don't save souls. The truth does. And many true kind of fall away and aren't struggling through. Make sure you do. Keep the word, keep the truth, and you'll be all right. More at electedroyalty.com. God bless you. Your families too. May you be faithful. The hell with you if you're not.